On the eve of his retirement in 1992, a very leading newspaper of Central India, the Hitwada, had this to say about him: Justice Qazi belongs to the fast vanishing breed of gentlemen judges. Justice Qazi is at present a member of the Minorities Commission and earlier has been a member of the Advisory Board, Islamic and Comparative Law Journal in New Delhi. After his retirement as the High Court judge, Justice Qazi has been fortunate and been honored with the elevation to the position of Chairman, Maharashtra Administrative Tribunal, a post equal to that of the rank of the Chief Justice of the Bombay High Court. This high-powered tribunal is the substitute and bifurcation of the Bombay High Court for all government service matters. To top it all, his humble demeanor and manners, as well as a deep anguish and care for real human progress, make him an apt personality to preside over today's proceedings. He would be introducing the importance and significance of the topic for the day, as well as introduce Dr. Zakir Naik, who he is well acquainted with. Brothers and sisters, Justice M.M. Qazi.
The distinguished speaker, Dr. Zakir Naik, Dr. Muhammad Naik, former Governor and Ambassador Mr. Talayar Khan, the foreign dignitaries, ladies and gentlemen. At the outset, I would like to thank the organizers of Islamic Research Foundation for having invited me to preside over this function. I would also like to thank Dr. Muhammad Naik for having said few good words about me. As you are already aware, the subject of the talk this morning is women's rights in Islam, modernizing or outdated. Modernizing means something which is not antiquated, but in the context of the subject it would mean the rights given to women in Islam 14 centuries back are relevant even today. The debate on the position of women in social spectrum has been going on since centuries, but of late it has assumed somewhat alarming proportion in certain matters. Issues such as talaq, polygamy, participation of Muslim women in socio-political activities are subject of regular comment and discussion in the media. There may have been problems, but at the same time it is a fact that some of the issues were overplayed by the media. No doubt, the Western woman has today obtained socio-economic and legal-political rights through hectic struggle which was carried on for over 200 years. But friends, I would like to tell you that in the struggle, in the process, she has lost everything. She has lost, if you have closely observed the Western society, you will agree with me that she has lost her family life, she has lost peace of mind, she has lost even her honor and womanhood. On the contrary, Islam has bestowed on women innumerable rights. 14 centuries back, when contemporary civilizations were still considering whether woman could be regarded as a human being. We have therefore to examine objectively, dispassionately and coolly whether the rights so given in Islam are really adequate and therefore relevant even today. We are fortunate to have an eminent speaker, Dr. Zakir Naik, who is going to deal with the subject exhaustively, and therefore it is not necessary for me to refer to all those verses in the Holy Quran and the number of traditions of the Prophet of Islam pertaining to the rights of women. However, I'll refer to the two verses in order to demonstrate that woman has been given a dignified position in Islam. Verse number 228, chapter 2, Surah Baqarah, as translated by Abdullah Yusuf Ali, whose work is supposed to be the most standard work, reads as under. And women shall have rights similar to the rights against them according to what is equitable, but men have a degree of advantage over them. I would like you to bear in mind every word of this verse. It has unequivocally been declared that men and women have similar rights against each other. These words, this part of the verse has nowhere been diluted anywhere in the Quran. However, the verse further says that men have a degree of advantage over women. It is really these words which we have to be sure about, because it is here that most of the people have faltered, and even some of the commentators have misconceived these words. But at the outset I would like to tell you that these words have nothing to do with the rights between the parties. Rights, as we have already seen just now, have been unequivocally declared in the earlier portion of this verse, that men and women have similar rights against each other. In order to fully appreciate these words, namely that men have a degree of advantage over women, we will have to refer also to another verse, verse number 34, chapter 4, Surah Nisa. Its translation reads as under, men are the protectors and maintainers of women, because Allah has given the one more into bracket strength, bracket close, than the other, and because they support them from their means. This verse again lays down that men are the protectors and maintainers of women. It further says that God has given one more than the other. Admittedly, woman is a weaker sex, and she has got to be given special protection in certain matters. Anthropologically, man is stronger and also different, which is also a biological truth. No doubt, nature has given him this advantage, for which no credit goes to man and no discredit to woman on that account. But I would like to tell you that this